Last week I met with actually a collector's wife. She was like a bit worried about the collection because the family has a grand collection, but they don't know what to do after a certain time. They don't believe that the kids want to continue collecting or they want to sell it. And the collection is not big enough to put into a museum space. So maybe a bit more philosophical question, that is it a problem if, I don't know, like 50 or 100 years later, your work will disappear?
I think for me it's always been very important to have the public enjoying and watching my work. Without the public, I think my work doesn't have any sense, doesn't make any sense. But at the same time, I know nothing is forever. Somehow it's thrilling to know that my works will survive me, that's for sure. But they won't last forever, especially works on paper. I mean, they could last a lot of years, but not forever. Sometimes I think about it, but not too much, because I'm all about living the present, generally. So it's not that I really care about what will happen to my work in a number of years. But it's always intriguing. It's thrilling to think about what will happen to my works when I'm not here.
What is interesting in drawing? I mean that I always looking for the small details from a fresh view, like a few centimeters to see everything. But sometimes I also looking for the stories, because with just one image you can create some kind of story. But there are of course exceptions. For example, if we take the most serious, the rabbit from Leonardo, I think it is like, what did he wanted to capture actually?
Yeah,
so
maybe just a rabbit.
Yeah, maybe there's nothing more inside. So when I'm looking at your images, I find some kind of stories, but I'm not sure that this is the most important for you actually.
My work in general is about, I think often that my work is about trying to freeze feelings. My drawings are normally never preparation drawings for bigger works, or they're not sketches, so they're always works on their own. And I think it's just an extension of my pictorial work, my work as a painter in a different surface that lets me improvise more and lets me be more free than with the canvas. And in the canvas I'm more rigid. So that's why I decided to stop, because I don't draw. I haven't always been drawing in my work. I'm more of a painter. So when I was younger, I painted a lot and I didn't draw a lot. Then with the years, I felt the need of start drawing, because I was watching other people's work and I was really enjoying it. The fresh feeling, like the lack of importance, like you're not risking so much on a paper. I don't know why, but when you're working on a paper, you're not risking so much. If it doesn't go well, you can always throw it away or break it or change it or turn it into something else, which is what I do many times. I don't get what I want, and then I turn it into something else. I'm more free on the paper.
What you just mentioned, this lighting, is interesting, because what I saw in your works, that the lighting is changing by the surface, so a lot. I mean, that's not really usual, because normally, for example, if you take a picture outside, then normally the light is like a common one, so it's not changing dramatically. But in your pictures it do. So I can imagine that you can play with this lighting effect.
For me, my story with lights, I think it comes from Spanish Baroque painting, where light starts having, about the chiaroscuro and the technique they were using put the main object in a very special kind of light, and most of the surroundings in a very special kind of darkness. That it's quite philosophical too. So in my case, I think that's been a very, very big influence in my work, how I work with light in my work, as if light was something more than light. It has like a deeper meaning. I'm not a religious person, I'm not a believer, but it's not something religious, but it's something mystical, I think, about light. I think that's why, little by little, through the years, my works have less color, and they're more close to black and white. When it's about drawing, most of them are just black and white. Another thing that I want to speak about, that is, I always play with the perception of the viewer, because many of my works are very, very dark. They're in the limits of something viewable. I love playing with perception, like somehow it's exaggerating the pace of painting and the pace of art. Art makes you stop, like in a world that is very, very fast, about images. Art makes you stop for a while. Painting makes you stop a little bit more. No, you need to stop a few seconds more, just especially if you're interested in technique and that. But you need to stop to understand what you're looking at. And then when the works are so dark and so in the limits of what is the limits of perception, it makes you stop more, because you need a few seconds to start saying anything. So it's a bit like a metaphor.
So Barbara, is there any difference when you run a gallery only for drawing or with all kind of works?
It depends people. Some people ask for, you can tell, you must tell them everything, but mostly I think people like or don't like.
You are participating in art fairs, which is of course a good way to get more opinions about works, but it's maybe also again a more theoretically or more philosophical question, that do you need to grab attention in the first moment with the flashing lights or something, or are you waiting for the collectors or the visitors who want a more, again I use the intimate word, to spend some time with your artworks and to present them and other things?
I don't like to attack the people. So normally we leave people words and we leave them to ask if they want to ask something. But we don't like to work like, hello, do you need something? Do you need more explanation? No, we think people must like, and if they are interested, they will ask for technique or for approach.
Maybe another interesting thing that is going on is the digitalization.
I don't like to write. No, it's working like with drawings, I think is the opposite, no, to digitalization. I think they don't work together.
Yeah, but you still have a website, then.
Yes, but I mean, just a website to show the work of the artist and the work of the ancient works.
You are in Spain, and about the Spain art scene, yeah, of course, when I visited Arco, for example, or big art fairs, I could have a kind of feeling. But I'm interested because you already mentioned that you are in a range of 300 years of works.
Sometimes we make a partnership with artists. We do projects together. We speak about. We will work about, for example, that one, the La Mirada Fantasma, is the phantom gaze, because sometimes we work like that. We ask for a project, and artists must think a project to dialogue with masters.
So in this way you better collaborate with the artist to create new works, instead of just waiting for the artist to do something in the home or the studio.
Most of the times we do that. To make a conversation with this and the contemporary.
And how do you manage this process? Do you have, I mean, instructions maybe or something?
No instructions. What do you think?
When we've been working, it was like a dialogue. So we were like just giving ideas to each other, and then in my case with La Mirada Fantasma, it came in a very natural way, like as a collaboration, and it was easy because I'm interested in old masters art, so it was easy to leave some space for the other works to express.
You have to tell me one thing, because I don't understand this dog. What is just in
The dog.
there? The dog. It's so strange. I mean, it's a kind of blurring. It's like we're looking at from a distance, but it has like this the nose. It's more concrete.
Yeah.
So how this came out?
The thing is, my series of drawings of dogs came from technique. I was experimenting with the technique. So I started years ago. When you paint with the paper very wet with a lot of water, you get those very blurry textures and that very out of focus feeling. And sometimes it looks like fluffy hair. It was just the opposite. From that texture, I thought about drawing animals with hair, and I love dogs. So I started painting dogs because of that. And it's at the same time, it's an experiment on portraiture and on drawing itself, and it's about how much you can tell with very little elements.
Thank you very much for the discussion.